Welcome back to the Old Colony Cast, a podcast about all things Plymouth and surrounding areas. Hopefully happier than the last couple episodes. I'm Andy. Let's add that. I'm Andy, joined by other host Hanna.
Hi.
And joined by still sad producer Fish. Still sad from the last couple episodes.
Okay, so at the time of recording, I am editing the last episode you listened to. So yeah, I'm not in a great place.
Okay. That's fair.
Update, bird flu. It's clearing up.
It's all done.
The season is...
It's all done.
The season has... seems like it's... We're on the out.
That's good news.
It is.
Nice.
I had that... Premonition's not the right word. I feel like that was obvious when I drove through downtown and the flashy traffic
It's
sign.
gone. Yeah.
It's there, but it was saying something completely different.
Oh, and I'm like, it's gone.
Yeah.
If it doesn't talk about birds, I don't acknowledge
I can't remember what it was. No, not the waterfront fell. It was something.
Right.
Something non-bird flu related. So
and I was like, that's a good sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's progress.
Yeah. I believe Fish has a bird-related factoid, not necessarily an update.
Mm-hmm.
It is bird related.
That's a good segue.
About just birds in general?
No, it is.
It's about penguins.
Yeah.
It's about the tariffs they're going to be receiving?
Yeah.
Yes. It is about. It really is.
I know. Oh, I know about them. Which penguins are getting it?
Okay, so the reason I found this out is because I was bouncing around several random facts, because this is what I'm doing instead of my job at work.
That's always good to admit on a recording.
What are they going to do? Fire me? They don't care. I was building a relationship with my vendors.
There you go.
So, as you have probably heard, the current administration has levied tariffs on what I'm apparently told I can't call uninhabited islands because there are penguins there.
Yeah, I said it was racist.
Yeah. Which seems excessive.
Speciesist?
Speciesist? As opposed to just specious. There we go. So the Heard and McDonald Islands. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the sailor who originally discovered Heard Island was a sailor named John Heard from Boston.
What are
Oh.
the coincidences he's going to discover Heard Island?
Well, when you discover the
Heard.
island, you do get to name it after yourself. That's kind of the
I know some herds.
perk.
Yeah. I wonder if they're related.
I'll ask.
Yeah, so he was on his honeymoon trip. I mean, I assume he was actually working, but he
Yeah.
just got married. He took his wife on as like...
He just got married. He had to go immediately to work. Just happened to fall in the timeline of their honeymoon.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where you just got married, you take your wife with you on the trip because...
No, I'm glad she got to go.
Honey, it's our honeymoon. So yeah, his wife is actually the one who has the first written description and drawings of the island.
Cool.
And she is from Easton. So it is very like
I love
old
that.
colony related.
Yeah. Very good.
So yeah.
I love that fact.
Yeah,
Gold star.
I know.
Gee, thanks. Her name is Fidelia Heard.
Fidelia.
That's a good name.
I like it.
Fidelia?
Fidelia?
Fidelia.
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 Yeah, that sounds right.
I love that.
How would you shorten that?
So, side
Honey. She's just honey.
Delia.
Delia, I could see.
Delia.
Fid?
Leah.
That's what I was saying. Fiddy.
Del.
Fiddy?
I feel like if you shorten it that.
I don't think you can call her Fiddy.
Fifi.
Why?
I suppose you could at that point.
Baby.
Hun. She's just hun.
I've told you about, remember did I do Filene's? Have I done an episode on
I
Filene's?
don't think we've done Filene's.
No.
No, we didn't. We did Jordan Marsh. So I've always said that it's not Filene's. I think it's supposed to be Feline because Feline is an actual name. No, like the Bambi's love interest in Bambi, her name is Feline.
Oh, really?
It's like, yeah.
Someone named a store after her?
No. Just give an example of that name existing out there.
But I just assumed it was like someone's last name.
I still don't think Filene is like the actual pronunciation of it.
Actively not looking it up because we're doing
This
an
will be a future
episode. I'm
episode,
not
yeah.
going to start Googling
I don't know, something to think about. I'll bring it up.
Feline's basement.
Yeah, but Feline, I'm like, I think it's supposed to be Filene's anyway. I mean, that's what Filene's is supposed to be.
Teasing a future episode. Stay tuned, listener.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about today.
What are we talking about today?
We sorry.
Up, I knock them down.
Unfortunately, there's no segue from what Fish was talking about. But we do have some other recent news. I don't know if you heard about the King Richard's Faire.
I have.
Yes.
It's a big scandal.
That's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
I've seen some very interesting posts about it.
So
I have the broad strokes, but I
King Richard's
lost
Faire?
when you said scandal.
It's not really a scandal.
I mean,
Towny
People
scandal.
just like,
controversy. I mean, it's Carver. I mean,
yeah.
your
Okay.
scandals are only going to get so big.
They sold the King Richard's Faire, like trademark festival, sold the rights to that fair. But I
didn't know.
So if you recall,
We had a May.
May.
A May has been on the show.
Yes, and she explained that land they were on,
It's not their land.
it's not their land. They're leasing it,
That I knew.
right? And so the land is still owned by the same person, but King Richard's Faire, as we know it, is no longer.
Okay.
Now Edaville Railroad was just sold and purchased by the same people who bought King Richard's Faire.
Oh.
Okay, it's not very controversial then.
No,
it
what did you see?
I saw well, I didn't know that they had been sold. I knew that the property was owned by someone else because we had that discussion. If you go way back and listen to our Moonrise Cinema episode, because they started there.
Yeah. We're trying to think of a better location, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. What are you gonna do?
yeah.
But part of the reason why they ended up leaving because there was conflict between them, the property management, and King Richard's Faire about like what they can do, blah blah blah.
Right.
And so that's why they opted to go somewhere else. So I think the first thing that I saw was it was moving to Edaville. And then I saw something, and again, I didn't click on any. I don't really read much on social media because I'm just like, it's mostly garbage. So I think I saw something about their lease being up, and the implication I got was that the property manager didn't want to re-up the lease.
I think there was that too. I think I saw that also.
So-
I don't think you were making that up.
Okay, so and then I saw,
But I don't know if it was like maybe King Richard's Faire didn't want to.
okay,
I don't know.
and then the only other thing I saw was basically the property manager's like, cool, get all these buildings off my property. Because
That's a thing.
The buildings are, it was something along that
The
line.
structures, yeah.
Because the structures are built by, so like essentially the longer you're there, the bigger booth you can have, or you can actually construct a booth.
Yes.
And I've seen people
So the people,
trying to figure out how to move
Yes.
their booth.
Their
up.
booth.
yeah, so the people the vendors like have to like
Yeah.
do
When I say
something with their booth.
They're small houses.
Yes. yeah. You got to remember the King Richard's Faire has been there for like 30 some odd years
Yeah.
at this point. So,
Longer than that.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I hope I didn't screw all your notes.
No, you didn't. You actually mentioned all the things I forgot to even talk
Oh,
about.
all right.
So, you
the one I saw someone like, I need to move a gazebo to a new location. Does anyone have the ability or know how I would do this?
yeah.
And didn't explain, but then the picture they showed, I'm like, that's definitely King Richard's Faire.
Yeah. I know I love that location for it too. So feel
Yeah, I
sad about it.
couldn't even tell you if I was ever at Edaville.
Mm-hmm.
It was so long ago I couldn't tell you if I've been there.
So so the plan is to arrange the fair at Edaville.
Which makes sense.
Makes
I mean,
sense. It's you own the property
Yeah.
instead of
There's lots of land there, so I don't know where they would put it, what it would look like, that kind of thing. But
And it's not far away.
no, it's right up the street.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-minute drive.
Right.
yeah.
So pretty cool. And then they're going to be operating Edaville as kind of intended too, but I think they are definitely making some changes. So we're going to talk about the history of Edaville Railroad
Okay.
Okay.
based off that update that I just gave.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, so- oh,
you
all
helped
right.
with.
I thought we were talking about the whole moving of King Richard. Okay.
There's not much left to that until it all
alright.
happens.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough to talk about the thing that
Well, I
hasn't
wasn't
happened yet.
sure. Like I said, I thought it was a big controversy, but it doesn't really sound.
No, you got the core of it. I didn't even remember really about all that stuff,
You
but
hear
I
that,
did
listener?
read it.
Hannah saying I'm the smartest person she's ever met.
Yeah, it opened in 1947.
Subtext.
Very
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
1947.
All right.
Started by Ellis D. Atwood. What are his initials? Ellis D. Atwood.
Ida.
EDA. Edaville. Get it?
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it.
I didn't know that till I did
I
this.
just learned now.
He made
Give the dyslexic guy spelling thing.
he made an investment on 2 locomotives and passenger cars that came with it from Bridgeton and Saco River Railroad in 1941. As we mentioned, I don't know what I said there. Okay, so sorry. I'll get back to that little note I left for myself. Just after World War II, he acquired 2 former Manson Railroad locomotives and a handful of other surviving cars from the defunct Sandy River and Rangeley Lakes Railroad in Maine. I believe the other railroad he acquired, or locomotives he acquired, was also from Maine. He spent a lot of time in Maine.
Yeah, well, he said the
previous to
Saco
this.
River, so that's up there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was able to scoop all these up after the Depression went into this. Why did I write this?
I don't know.
As they went, things were kind of delayed because of the war, so he
Okay.
couldn't just bring them down
Oh,
here.
so basically, after the Depression, he bought them all, and then all of a sudden there
Yes.
was a World War,
Thank you.
which means that it was busy.
It busy, and then like also the ability to utilize ways to get them down here.
yeah.
It was like not
Yeah.
a thing. So
No, you can't have coal. We need coal for the
right,
war.
exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
materials.
and I'm going to build
stuff.
my own railroads. And like, not now. No, you're not. Not right now. You're not.
With what, buddy?
Yeah.
So these were 2-foot narrow gauge versus 3-foot
Oh, yeah. Of course.
gauges. So I don't.
You know the difference?
I think
1 foot.
Yeah.
So basically, that's the gauge is the
Thank you,
width
I knew
of
you would
the
know.
Tracks.
I thought it was that.
Is the
Okay.
what?
The
width
width
of
of
the
tracks. Yeah.
So basically, on a 2-foot gauge, the 2 metal parts of the railroad tracks are 2 feet apart, and that is the width of the wheelbase.
I knew Fish would know.
I'm unsurprised. You know.
I didn't leave a note, but I was like, he's gonna help me out with that.
All I see from here is Fish will fill in the details.
He owned
Why do you guys think I know a lot about railroads?
We'll talk about that after.
He owned a cranberry bog in Carver, 1,800 acres, what we know today
Yeah.
as the lands of Edaville. April 1947, he actually had a golden spike ceremony to say, like, I know, yeah. That's what they do when they start a railroad.
kind of adorable.
I know. And they would use the trains to haul equipment and cranberries. They sent the cranberries to the screen house to be dried. So they not only did.
So this wasn't even like a tourist attraction.
Not yet.
It was literally like
Initially, no.
I bought these trains to.
He liked trains.
Okay.
He also had a chance to utilize them on his property.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yes, but he had a big. I was about going to say
I was going to say
event.
caboose.
No, a big
Sorry.
operation happening there because they were in that day and age. They were like processing more stuff there
Sure.
with the cranberries too, but it would bring sand and anything else you need to grow cranberries. At first, when people for funsies started writing, it was just like friends and friends of friends and family and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Well, I feel like the initial conversation went, "Honey, I bought a train. What do you need a train for?" To move the cranberries and sand around and stuff.
And then I feel like the first train ride was probably they like had people over for dinner.
Yeah.
And he's like, you gotta check this out.
I got a train. They're like, "What?"
And then he brings them over to the train. He's like, we could go. We could take a ride right now.
Like, guys,
can
we have
go.
this. It's like, come on, I have a train. You guys don't want to ride the train around the
Yeah.
around the bog. It's scenic.
It is scenic. That's mentioned many a times.
The scenic cranberry bogs.
Yes, it is. So Ellis unfortunately passed away in 1950 after he sustained injuries from an explosion in the screen house.
Oh,
I know.
train related?
Well, the screen house
Greenhouse
is
is
more.
for cranberries.
Yeah.
I think it's where they
assuming the train pulled in. I don't know.
No, it wasn't train. I don't know. They didn't really go into detail
Yeah.
about
Okay, I
it.
think the screen house is where they like sort the cranberries.
Yeah, it's like dry and sort, and I don't know what they were doing in there.
All right.
But there was an
But
explosion.
I can't think of anything though that's supposed to that
That's why I asked.
I'm
Train
not saying
related.
supposed to explode. Nothing in there is supposed to explode.
I was gonna say
but
nothing cranberry related would make me think explosion, but trains are a different story.
yeah.
So, as a result, his widow and nephew would continue to run Edaville. His wife's name was Althea.
Althea.
And Dave Eldridge, his nephew, Edaville, until they sold it to, I just said that in a weird way, but they were running Edaville until they sold it until F. Nelson Blunt. Yeah, Blunt.
So no one involved can have normal names.
No.
Okay.
And he was a railroad enthusiast, so he bought it like for
He bought it for the trains.
the trains.
To run as the tourist attraction?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was also a seafood aficionado.
See, the fact that it wasn't...
I'm sorry, seafood what?
Aficionado. He made his fortunes off of seafood.
Okay.
Okay, I've never heard it called...
Here's the thing. Neither have I.
Okay.
What? You've never
Hannah,
heard
did you
this
make
term?
that word up?
No, Fortunato? No. It's like an Italian thing. Look it up.
Okay. I believe you.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Isn't it a character from Romeo and Juliet?
he was on Romeo's Family.
Now that I'm thinking about this, the fact that they had a golden spike ceremony is even cuter because it wasn't
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
run as a touristy thing.
I was thinking of the Cask of Amontillado.
That's totally different.
It is.
I
Dummy.
know. Completely different, but that's why I know that it as a name.
Adiato.
But you know what I'm saying is like it's way cuter that he just had a golden spike ceremony.
Yeah.
For his little train.
Yeah. So the Atwood estate still owned the land, and Blunt just bought the trains and like the materials and was like essentially like leasing it, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I don't know their dynamic and how that worked year to year, month over month, whatever. Didn't matter. He would operate it for about a decade, showing off his collections and taking tourists around the scenic cranberry bogs. He was the creator of Steamtown, USA in New Hampshire. You know about Steamtown, USA?
I don't. Is it about trains?
a really popular place. Yes,
Is it
it's
still there?
I don't know if it's still there, but
Okay.
I knew about it when I was a kid. And then there was also a
New Hampshire had a lot of like
he
weird little
he had
touristy-
another one, I think, like not in New Hampshire, but somewhere like I feel like it was out towards the west a little bit more.
Yeah.
But he was a train man. He was into trains. He liked trains, and he was funding that off seafood. So
Makes sense.
yeah. He would die in a plane crash in 1967.
What you're saying is Edaville is cursed.
Something's happening here. So, Fred Richardson was his assistant and took over operations until it sold to George E. Bartholomew, a former employee, in 1970.
Okay.
Mrs. Atwood, she ended up passing away in the late 80s. And this would force the railroad to close because now there was a kind of dispute over the property.
Okay.
Like, is it getting
who belongs
sold?
to. Yeah.
If they're selling it, do they still have an agreement to have someone operate the railroad? That kind of thing. Put it up for sale in 1991. It was closed from 1991 to 2005. And
Wait. The time frame on this.
yeah,
So the woman died in the 80s.
yeah.
Yeah.
80 what?
It just said 80s.
Oh.
Late 80s.
Oh, okay. Then that's not too. All right.
No, I think there was still like.
So I was thinking 1980, and I'm like, it was closed for like over a decade.
And it was, well, almost.
So it was late 80s and.
91 to 2005.
Oh, okay, I got you. So it was closed for that. Wow, that is a long time.
I know. Well.
And it's not just, it's a long time. It's a pretty formative time for 2/3 of the hosts of this show.
So guess what? My mom, my whole life has been, she's never brought me to Edaville, but she was convinced she brought me. Here's the proof. She never did. It was
it's not her
closed.
fault. It was closed. You can't blame your mother for not taking
No.
Listen, just because you broke into places that weren't open doesn't mean
No,
your
no,
mom
no.
should do it with a child.
I don't care that she didn't bring me. It's that she thinks she brought me.
Oh.
That's different.
Okay.
I don't, yeah, what she didn't bring me. She had 4 kids, whatever. Sometimes you don't get around to everything.
Yeah.
It's that she thinks she brought me. She said, we went for your sister's birthday. And I said, well, there's a big chance that I wasn't there for it, considering there's 6 years of birthdays she would have had without me being present.
Yeah.
So,
She would have had to hit one of the early ones, I assume.
yeah. And so 91, I was
I
one.
get that. Especially like when your kids get older, you're like, you were there for that. And I'm like, I wasn't there for that.
I get
I'm like,
it.
It's like,
"Nah,
I was
I'm pretty
there for
sure
that."
you were.
You were there. It's like,
Hell, I do that to fish half the time.
I don't
You're like, you know that person. He's like,
it's like
no, I
I've
don't.
never seen this man before in my
I'm
life.
like, you don't know that person?
I just like to
Like, I don't know.
I just like
everyone
to
you know
have
from
the
bar,
hard
Andy.
evidence to say, no, we did not go because it actually wasn't open at all.
I feel like I've seen photos of myself there, but
Yeah.
Like, I'm half convinced I've been there, but it would have been in the mid to late 80s then.
Yeah.
Because, so I was, I don't know, like
Preschool.
a toddler.
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, like, it's like I'm trying to conceive of what the place really is because I thought it was like a theme park.
It is now.
Okay.
Yep. And then it was less of a theme
But
park.
it wasn't then.
No, before 2005.
Okay.
It did have things. It had things you could go see. Do you remember we were talking about what's the place that
Castle Inn?
Yes, and that there were
I remember that well.
there were some things in Edaville that they got from King's Castle Land. So they had like picture, moments like
Yeah,
stand
yeah,
with
yeah.
this guy and like do
Here's a really old crappy statue.
yeah, and I don't know the extent of what they had for amusements, but
Yeah.
it's a vast property and they had
They had
like
trains, Hannah.
and they had trains.
All the
besides
amusement
trains.
you need
But
on a
anyway,
2-foot gauge.
very happy to see that it was actually closed for my entire childhood.
Weird pause. Another weird pause. I was really happy to see it closed for my whole childhood.
No,
Because for a second, I'm like, wow, that was really me. I'm glad a decade of kids suffered and never got to ride a train.
anyway,
Because that means my mom was wrong. Yeah.
Oh, that I get.
a lot of the equipment was sold, loaned, sold/loaned up to Maine for various shows and museums or, other folks.
Other train related
Yeah.
things.
or like the Steam Town USA or whatever the heck it was called. Like there's plenty of train
I looked that up.
amusement parks.
That closed in 1983.
I went to it. No, I didn't. I do remember
There's the
hearing
time
about it though.
travel.
Yeah, Hannah. Only Andy. Yeah,
I wouldn't have been 10. So
and Hannah and I wouldn't have been.
No.
No,
It
I mean
wasn't.
there's a 50-50 chance that I was alive when it closed in 1983.
There were several attempts to revive it through the years with various companies. Very much a on and off again situation. 1999, it reopened, owned by Jack Flagg and John Deli Presoli and Douglas Beaton. Two
So wait,
business
it opened
partners
back in 99.
attempted to.
Okay.
They didn't. They attempted to reopen. I apologize.
No, I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
yeah,
That I'm saying it the right way.
that the timeline doesn't get confusing.
They bought it. Let me say that. They purchased it with the intent of reopening it. And one of them was a cranberry man, Douglas Beaton. So it was like
He was a cranberry fortunataire.
Yeah, so it's like
Fortune
contractor.
teller. What'd she say?
Fortunato.
Fortunato.
Listen, I've known that word my whole life.
I have
What does your mother say?
I have never heard that word outside of a very specific classic story context, okay?
Jack Flag was a
That sounds like a made-up name.
contractor, and
Sounds
then
like
the
a
other
comic
guy was
character.
a business.
Yeah.
Prisoli was a business partner. I just like that they listed Doug. They were like Douglas Beaton. He's got cranberries, so he like
Cranberry Man.
he's
Yeah,
running
but
the
Carver,
cranberries.
That's
That's
You
everyone.
need one though,
Yeah.
right? So they had one. They got a new steam locomotive named the Anne Elizabeth with a lot of renovations to the buildings on the property. Oh shoot, this is weird. I wrote something down wrong, for sure,
Okay.
because they did reopen before 2005. Maybe I meant 2001.
maybe they're just conflicting dates and sources.
That could be.
Sources are like that.
But let me tell you what happened in December 2000. The wheels on one of the cars, 4 axles, came off the tracks, causing derailment. This would happen again in 2001.
It's cursed.
A family from Weymouth was jostled
Jostled, you say?
in 2001. So they were
I'm gonna say, can you
open.
define jostled?
They were open. That's all that happened. By 2005, it was now just owned by John Deli Prisoli. He bought
Cranberry guy.
no.
Okay.
I know. I was
No,
rooting
he's
for him
one
too.
of the other guys.
Okay.
He was he was like the business partner.
Okay.
He bought out the property and partners. So now, like, whatever was going on with conflicting land and things, like, he cleared the air and just got
He's
scooped.
like, I'm just gonna buy the whole thing.
It's scooped into one
Yeah.
thing. It's all together now.
Smart.
It was rebranded to Edaville Family Theme Park,
Okay.
not just Edaville. And they bought up rides, attractions, including like the fake Thomas the Tank Engine things. Do you remember this?
The fake Thomas the Tank.
As you couldn't ride
It's
on him,
not
you
the
could just
real
go
Thomas.
see him.
Oh, okay.
He's on I can't remember the name of the island.
Oh yeah, Walter. I can't even show Walter that show because he will want to watch it forever and ever and ever. And they're only like 8 minutes long, and then
rough.
it's like ding 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 ding.
My kids were obsessed with the Muppets. Well, they're still obsessed with Muppets, but for a long time it was the Muppets Christmas special.
Oh yeah, that
And you're
one's
like,
good.
it's June.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind Thomas so much if like it didn't swing right back into the theme song so quickly. I was like, the episode's over. Anyway, so a Thomas attraction.
I do remember that though.
It's
that
a
was,
Thomas
that was
Land.
like a big
Yes.
deal
Yeah.
So Thomas Land was there.
because that was the height of Thomas.
Yeah, and they made like a
Thomas was dating all those celebrities in Hollywood.
yeah. They made like the little fish. What's the thing the trains go into at night to sleep?
Their beds.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I kind of, but you do know I don't actually know a ton about trains.
I just thought maybe
Lies. It's all lies. I don't
Like-
believe any of that.
it's a
I
I
know-
believe her year layout more than I believe what you just said.
Look,
I believe a place can be open and not open at the same time. That you don't know about trains.
Schrodinger's Edaville. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's a thing. You know what? The trains are like tucked away for the
In my
evening,
brain, I can envision
and
it.
and to get out, they have to go on the spinner.
Yeah.
To like because they all can't go at once,
Yeah.
so like it has to turn
It's
to
not a
get them out.
roadhouse, but I bet your house is in the name of it.
Yeah. So I think they had one of those going because that's like a famous Thomas thing, and these trains were not like
Now he's pretending to look it up.
they weren't active.
damn. You know why? Because again, look.
You heard it here first. He's pretending to look it up.
Okay, look. I understand that I give off a lot of.
I like trains.
I give off a lot of guy who knows a lot about trains vibes.
Yeah.
And I know this, but I'm
don't.
not. I was never a train guy.
Gotcha. Anyway, so They also had Dino Land, which I had definitely heard of Dino Land,
heard
and
that.
I didn't go to that either. Sold.
How do you not live there? Trains and dinosaurs, dude? I feel like...
Why do you think I'm a train guy?
Oh my gosh. So they had Dino Land, but I do remember Dino Land being like, it's very much towards small children. It wasn't like a,
Oh, that makes more sense now.
yeah, like it was not a,
Yeah, at no point in this time was I a small child.
yeah.
By 2005, I was a full adult.
Sold again in 2022 by Shrevenby Hawley and Brian Fanslaw. Fanslaw. Sure. Dino Land and Thomas Land would close.
Broke the hearts of several.
Bummer. But they started the new European style Christmas market. I think they revamped a few little areas.
Yeah, I remember I've been
This
there
was-
for Christmas
When
stuff.
did you say this was happening?
2022.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was very... I don't want to say I was involved. I was very familiar with what was going on because we do our vendor
Yeah.
markets. A lot of vendors were involved in the Christmas
Yeah.
market. in some way.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really cool. I did go last year. And it was cool. I'll tell you about it. In just a second. March 2025, we come full circle
Come
to
full circle.
to the news we shared at the beginning of this.
So one King Richard has
Yeah.
purchased it.
Kind of. I think they had already purchased Edaville, and so it's a new owner, and they then ordered.
He's a king. You can order.
No. Purchased King Richard's Faire. So that's where we're up to speed. I went for free on a Wareham Residence free day with Walter.
To
over
King
the-
Richard's Fair.
No, God, that would be a dream. No, he'll never be able to go. Like to the original.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, but now he gets to go with the experience of his mother going, being like, you should have been to the original one.
I
Look,
will.
here are my pictures from the King's box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, to Edaville.
But you got to pay to go in the shop?
Yes, you have to pay an entry fee.
That seems weird.
Yes. Well, it's Festival of Lights.
Oh,
So
there's other
may-
stuff
Yeah,
going
there was a
on.
whole thing.
Yeah.
going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never went, so obviously I don't really know.
Sorry. Yes.
Did that really only start in 22?
I guess so.
Yeah, that sounds
No,
right.
sorry. Festival of Lights
Festival
has been
Lights,
happening
'cause I remember-
forever.
Like,
That's
I
my
went
bad.
to the Festival of Lights
It was just their new Christmas market
Like-
was different.
far enough back that my cousins were like little
Yeah,
kids.
no, the Festival of Lights has been happening for a while because they
Yeah.
would do the train ride and you get to see all the lights.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
I got dragged along because...
So if you go to the Christmas market thing,
Yeah.
is there still a train running?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they should let you shop on the train.
It comes every 2
Just
hours.
Hurl things in the window at you.
So it's set up very
Yes.
much like a village town, like very like some of it looks. They still have some Thomas things up,
Yeah.
and then some of it looks like very like Swedishy. I don't know how to say like just wholesome mountain town.
Alpine.
Alpine. Thank
Very
you.
alpine.
I was going to say Scandinavian, but I'm like, I don't think that's the word she's looking for.
No.
Very wholesome mountain town.
Yeah.
Speaking of words,
How do you
the name of
say
the building
Alpine?
is...
I gave up. I was not going to deep dive my way because this
Any-
way lies model trains, and I'm not doing that.
Anyway, so bunch of different buildings, lots of rides. So I feel like what I've read, like it didn't really even encapsulate like how many rides they had. It was very much like going to a carnival. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
More little children rides, less adult rides.
I think it was definitely geared towards...
Didn't have any giant like roller coasters, I assume.
No, small one. Like, oops, sorry, microphone. Size of this room. Height wise too. There was a roller coaster for like
Kids.
toddlers,
kids.
Yeah.
Not toddlers. Walter wasn't allowed. So this is where. So it was free for Wareham residents. I didn't know what was going on. I walked up to this kid.
Wait, why was it free for Wareham residents?
I don't know. They just like
in
us.
Carver.
They did. I'm sure they did a free day for Carver too.
Okay.
And they. So I go up to this kid who's like at the entry of the park. And he's like, I'm like, oh, it's free for Wareham residents. And he was like, he's 14,
Yeah.
maybe.
Don't ask me questions.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, it's okay. And he's like, I think you just need to go down to like the desk, like the,
The ticket booth?
yes. And
Yeah.
you go in and like nice ladies helped me out with it. And I was like, oh, I'm Wareham resident, whatever. And they gave me a thing. And then I realized it's just for entry. So just to walk around and look at the lights, not for rides, not for the train.
So is it like one of those, like, I can't even think of a place like it where you get in and then you have to buy tickets to ride the rides?
Kind of, but like I also...
So like a theme park.
Yes.
And also like...
I also didn't understand... Yeah, Marshfield Fair, right?
Yeah,
you could
that's
go
kinda
in
what
and...
I'm thinking. I'm like, theme parks generally pay the crazy absorbent, like if you go to Six Flags, you don't have to pay to ride the rides.
Right.
Fair.
So I go in and like now I'm not realizing that to get on rides, you do either need tickets or you need a wristband. However, everyone's just operating with the wristband. So we're in the park and I'm like, oh, shoot. Because I try to go on a carousel with them. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. So then I'm like, I go back up because the lady at the carousel told
So she murdered someone.
No, she told me that like, oh, you need a wristband or whatever. But I'm still seeing ticket signs. So those still exist, which I'm assuming I'd have to go back to the booth that I was just at
to buy tickets.
Not from like these kids who are just checking your tickets. Like they're just scanning things. But I do see that he has a wristband because I think he gives the wristbands out to the people who get the admission that includes a wristband to ride the rides.
Oh, okay.
So I said, hey, could I get a wristband? And he was like, well, okay. And gave me
You bullied this poor...
I know. I didn't mean to.
Listener, the glee on her face is...
I was like, oh, I think I just like, I've already...
You scammed a poor confused
I think he felt
13-year-old.
bad that he made me walk back with Walter. Like
you don't accidentally scam someone in your
he
life. You're not
maybe
really trying.
thought I was annoyed.
Oh,
He
she
maybe
wasn't
thought
trying.
I then had the ticket to do that because it's his. I'm saying his friend, the other person, scanned me in. That was there. It was also a teenage boy. That was like, I don't know. He was just like, oh,
He's a teenage boy that made minimum wage. You really didn't.
no, and he was like, yeah, and he gave me and Walter both wristbands.
Yeah.
And then we got to ride all the rides for free.
Nice.
And then the only thing we didn't do is the train.
Well, listener, in future episodes, when you're wondering why it's just me, it's because Fish admitted to not working at work, and Hannah, I think, admitted to a felony of some kind.
If I get fired, I've got more time to record, Andy.
That's fair.
And then, oh my gosh, we had so much fun. But they did have the height requirements for stuff, and Walter's like very much below it at this point in his life.
He's pretty tiny.
Yeah.
He's pretty new.
And there was one that I saw that looked like just hot air balloons that would like go up and like do a gentle up and lift and turn around. And I was like, oh, wait, let's go on this. And we go over there. And I said, oh, you're not tall enough, pal. And the guy was like, no, it's fine. And let us on.
It's fine. We're giving out free wristbands. Who cares?
And
There were no real rules.
yes. And we went on to it. And I see that there's that like wheel in the middle of it. And I said,
yeah.
does this spin? And he goes, oh, yeah. And locked it. And I went,
Oh, no.
shoot. And so Walter's holding on to, he's cupping grasping my sleeve, holding on to the edge of the ride. And I have to stop the thing from spinning us out of control. And we're literally getting, like whipped around. I'm like, like trying to like all my strength stop it from spinning us. And oh my God, I just hear him go, Mama.
What did you do?
And I was like, it's okay.
Why?
You hate me?
Is
this what your mother did when she claimed she brought you here?
I was cracking up. I was like, it's gonna be okay. We're fine. It was so funny. Oh my God. It was so funny. But we went on a bunch of other more appropriate rides. We stuck to the height limit. And we didn't do the train because that was like another
Additional fee.
yes. And
Need
which
a whole
worked,
different
Talk the
wristband.
guy into letting her on for free.
but it worked out because like he's not at the point where getting in and riding the train is that cool, but
Right.
seeing the train is cool.
Right, yeah.
So like just the visual of it was fine. But it was really, it's such a cool property. I thought it was very neat. We went on a night that was 4 degrees. So
Oof, that's cold.
So no one was there, even though it was a free night.
Yeah.
And it was, I really liked it. I felt like I had missed out.
Is Cranberry World still there?
No.
The ocean spray thing?
Yeah, so the
I don't
ocean.
think so.
Okay, because I know that
No.
moved there.
It did at one point.
At one
yeah.
point.
I know.
Yeah.
I've been to that when it was in Plymouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like that because at the end they had samples.
Yeah. The juice.
I know what they had samples.
What?
You're like, they had samples and it's just like the juice. Like,
Well, they also like they would also like bake. Like
Yeah.
you get like cranberry bread. And
Yeah,
fun
you
stuff.
could get
I don't remember
different
the cranberry
cranberry
bread.
goods.
I was never a
Yeah.
cranberry juice.
They
fan.
I guess I just wanted people to know they weren't just going to give you a cranberry.
A cranberry? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Could happen.
You know, they have like 35 different blends
Yeah.
of cranberry juice.
So, moral of the story, be a little neutral going into a conversation with a teenage boy. They will always give you
I'm like, is this the, I don't know.
they will always give you a wristband. No.
Teenagers are dumb and apathetic.
Yeah.
The old colony cast.
No, it was funny though. I felt bad afterwards. I was like, I wanted to pay for it. Okay. I'm going to go.
Through this conversation, I now had a memory bubble up that I haven't thought about in a long time. The only interaction I've had in any way, shape, or form, it's not even being an interaction really, is I got a photo from my ex-wife because she took Zoe to Edaville to meet Hello Kitty.
Oh.
And Zoe was like, that was like her thing. She
Yeah.
was dying to meet Hello Kitty. And then, of course, there's the photo of the person in the Hello Kitty costume. And Zoe's like a good 4.5 feet away.
Terrified.
Yeah,
I
because
know.
they're like, oh, it's way bigger than it's on TV.
Oh, they had a pretty good Santa there too.
Yeah.
And like a good Santa area. Big.
I'm kind of amazed that it was, closed as long because I've always
Yeah.
just assumed
Apparently
it
it
was open
wasn't.
and that
Yeah,
people
just-
were doing the Edaville thing.
And it just seems like it's a very weird period of time for it to be closed for our mindset because it's like, yeah, it was always a thing. Mm-hmm. Except that from half of my childhood, it was not a thing.
I do remember driving by it and being like, what is up with this place? I just want to know. I also didn't go to King Richard's Fair till I was an adult. So it was like both places to me
okay.
were mysteries
Yeah,
for a
same.
while. But what was I going to say? So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm sad to see the land go. I was saying another Ren Fair should rent out King Richard, that old property.
Wow.
That would
You
be-
want competitive rent fairs?
How cool would that be?
That
I don't know.
I don't know that
Because that's the other thing is like
the market is big enough for 2 Ren fairs in Southeast
King Richard's Fair
Massachusetts.
always felt crazy crowded to me.
I always feel like that depends on the day you go.
I don't know. Well, you only
The
have
last time I was
Saturday
there,
and
I was with
Sunday.
you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, if it's even kind of crappy weather out, it's not
Yeah.
so bad. But I mean, it could stand a little competition if for like maybe to price wise,
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what happens with both. I was excited to be able to get to go to Edaville with Walter, and I was really hoping to go to the regular King Richard's Fair with him. But
So do we know, is it scheduled to open?
they said
this year?
they're going to. Yeah, that's the plan.
Way short notice.
I know.
You
So
have 4 months to move these.
I don't think they're taking anything from that, from the old site.
That's going to be hard.
Well, and that's the other thing is it's kind of like up to the vendors to move their
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they've also got to build everything. Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, there's a kitchen thing, but I mean, I don't.
So
there's
I
a
have
food
no
court,
idea.
There's the jousting.
Yeah,
that's just
they
the
have a
field.
lot of
Yeah.
land, thankfully, for them. I'm like,
They've all-
thankfully, a lot of
And I'm sure it's going to be like a lot of things where it's like, opens with probably what they can accomplish in that amount of time.
Yeah, and then
add
kind of
to it.
Yeah.
grows as they go.
Although there was a lot of shade being thrown in King Richard's Fair's direction
The last- yes.
season or so.
yes,
About like not, and I don't know, and I think a lot of it. All right, listener, I have no real information. This is just my opinion. I think there are people that used social media to grow a significant following to the point where people would go to King Richard's Fair to see these specific people. And we're like, hey, we would like to be paid because we're bringing people in the door. And King Richard's Fair went, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. That's the general impression. I have no real information, but
yeah,
it seems to make sense.
right.
And like to the point where I saw graffiti. This was the strangest graffiti I've ever seen in my life. I'm sure you've seen it.
If it's the same New World Tavern men's room?
Yes.
Yep.
What's it say?
It was something like King Richard's Faire is unfair and doesn't pay. Like, it was
Oh,
literally
yeah,
just,
It's like King Richard's Faire pays their employees $50 a day or something.
or doesn't pay them. I don't even
Yeah,
remember. But it was
it's-
just
yeah.
so oddly, weirdly specific. And you're like,
This is the most niche
why would
graffiti.
you write that here?
Yeah.
Like,
And the best thing is, it's been there for months.
Yeah.
well, because whatever they used
Was
is very, because they're like, we can't get it off. I think they hung something over it.
That is
yeah.
so funny.
Because they're like, we tried. We don't know what they use. We can't get rid of it.
there's like a poster there now.
I love that. Well, hopefully it's all for the better. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had a reason to go to Edaville now.
King Richard's Fair.
King Richard's Fair.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wait, are they? Because is Edaville seasonal?
They're not open 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So they will pick the winter season for Festival of Lights, and then in the summer if they have like the Dinoland and Thomas thing. So certain, but I don't think they're open like 100% year
Because that's
round.
just like if they're both open on the same weekend, that's going to be an absolute nightmare.
No, so I'm sure they would
They'll take like the fall off.
yeah.
Which, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Now you've added months of
Right.
attendance to your space.
Yes.
Huh? Interesting. No controversy. Not much controversy. Is it cursed?
Maybe.
Does fish like trains? Yes, he does. I think it's the part where we stop talking.
Choo-choo.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. Thanks again for listening.